Hello students, today I am taking up human relation theory. As you know, Monday onwards for 3 days I am taking up section 1. Thursday onwards 3 days I am taking up section 2. Today is Monday, so I am taking up section 1 in which I am doing administrative theory. I have already completed 3 theories: scientific management theory, administrative management theory, and bureaucratic theory. Today I am taking up human relation theory. This theory is very important wheresoever BPSC exam is concerned. There was a time when this question was asked thrice consecutively in BPSC exam. For the time being, it was outdated, or it was not being asked, but in 63rd BPSC again it was asked while having comparison with human relation theory and you can say administrative theory. So that time that question was asked. This topic is very important for one and foremost important reason, that it has highlighted the existence of informal organization in informal setup. It was the first theory which highlighted the importance of individual and importance of informal organization. You know, this theory developed in 1930s in against limitation of classical approach to organization. You know, organization theories can be classified under 3 heads: classical approach, new classical approach, and modern approach. If you take up classical approach, here 3 theories are included: scientific management theory, administrative theory, and bureaucratic theory. Under new classical approach, human relation theory and behavioral approach came. And under modern approach, system theory, and you can say to certain extent contingency theory also can be included under it. So we are doing new classical approach, under which there are 2 theories: first human relation theory and second behavioral theory. So today I am taking up human relation theory. This theory, as I told, developed in reaction to limitation of classical approach to organization. In classical approach, human being is considered part of machine or mere cogs of machine. In classical approach to organization was considered a formal structure, and in this approach, motivation was taken just an economic perspective, that is characteristic principle. Get your point? So these things were inadequate. To supplement these things, human relation theory came. So you cannot say that human relation theory just contradicted classical theory, rather it supplemented human classical theory. Whatsoever portion, whatsoever area which were not addressed by classical approach were supplemented by human relation theory. That is why this theory is also called social economic theory. Getting point? If classical theory are named as economic theory, then this theory can be named as social economic theory. Getting point? This theory is also known as new classical theory. This theory is also known as humanistic theory. This theory is also known as clinical approach. Get a point? This theory is developed by American sociologist George Elton Mayo and other scholars also like Roethlisberger, Dixon, Warner, Lloyd, Henderson, etc. have given valuable contribution. But wheresoever George Elton Mayo is concerned, he is considered father of this human relation theory. Getting a point? As the name suggests, this theory defines organization in humanistic way. It explains organization, it defines organization is aggregation of human relation. Getting point? It highlights the importance of human being in organization. He considers that technical skill cannot be alone sole criteria for efficiency and productivity of organization. In addition to technical efficiency, we require social skill also. So now combined form of technical efficiency and social efficiency will yield highest, you can say, performance and productivity of organization. So this theory added social dimension to organization. That is why this theory assumes a particular position in human administrative thought. Getting a point? So this theory is basically based on, getting a point? This theory is based on Hawthorne experiment observation. What is Hawthorne experiment? Hawthorne experiment is basically one of the biggest psychological experiment of industrial psychology, took place in between 1924 to 1932 under the leadership of George Elton Mayo, the American sociologist. In fact, that time when this theory was formulated, scientific management theory was in boom. Everywhere it was implied, or everywhere it was getting applied and proving, you can say, mental revelation. The Western Electric Company was the, you can say, the big company producing telephone switch, and it has one plant at Hawthorne that is called Hawthorne plant. It was situated near Chicago City, America. There, the management team, namely Roethlisberger and Dixon, introduced scientific management technique and expected that the performance will increase like other organizations. But here they found something strange. The performance did not increase. That's why they thought, what was the reason? Why, when this scientific management theory is proving successful everywhere, what a reason why it is not proving or giving what it is to be expected? They invited George Elton Mayo to inquire into and suggest measure. George Elton Mayo, before conducting Hawthorne experiment, has already conducted one experiment called first inquiry. Getting point? It was in a cotton mill in Philadelphia. In cotton mill, the turnover of employee was increasing very fast. Getting point? The dissatisfaction of employee was mounting. Management tried a lot, but nothing happened. The management invited George Elton Mayo to study the reason and suggest measure. Then George Elton Mayo conducted a study in detail, and he found that noise in the factory and fatigue nature of work culture were two main reasons for growing dissatisfaction and increasing turnover of labor. They suggested that there should be rest period of 10 minutes in total 8 hours work schedule. And 2 rest periods should be before lunch and 2 rest periods should be after lunch, and each rest period will be of 10 minutes. Management thought if the production will stop, machine will stop, then organization will go in loss. But since they don't have any option, then they applied, and they found that the performance improved significantly. The dissatisfaction of among worker reduced, and happiness or pleasant work culture emerged. So it was, you can say, strange outcome due to suggestion given by George Elton Mayo. George Elton Mayo also suggested to introduce bonus to motivate employees to work more, but the management was not in favor. They suggested that instead of giving bonus to them, why not they should be allowed to work even during rest period and earn more. But it did not work for at all. So now management decided and applied the suggestion given by George Elton Mayo and introduced a rest period of 10 minutes in 8-hour work schedule and found significant change in outcome. In the meanwhile, George Elton Mayo got invitation from Hawthorne plant to inquire into and suggest measures. This experiment took place under four stages. First stage was called elimination experiment. Second test was called relay assembly test room experiment. Third was called mass interviewing program. Fourth was called bank wiring experiment. Getting point? The first experiment took place between 1924 to 27, 1924 to 1927, 3 years. Here, what was done? It was the change in the lighting condition was tested, and it was whether it has an impact on the performance of worker and productivity of organizer or not. Getting point? So that's why it is called elimination experiment. Under this experiment, the 6 workers were selected in 2 groups. Each group had 6 female workers. Getting point? And both were kept in different rooms. And in one room, the lighting conditions were changed. In another room, the lighting conditions remained constant. But what was observed, when the lighting condition of one room was changed, production increased. No problem. It was ought to be. But they were surprised that why the performance of other room increased even then there was no change in their lighting condition. Then it was observed that in addition to working conditions, some other factors are also working in organization and influencing performance and behavior of a worker. So this is the thing. Relay assembly test room experiment is larger form of, you can say, elimination experiment. Here, in addition to lighting conditions, some other working conditions were also included, like sitting arrangement, air arrangement, then noise, then you can say sound system, then you can say lunch, dinner, whatsoever was refreshment given by organization to worker, their quality, and it was found that these things have definitely impact on performance of worker, but there are definitely some other things also missing in organization which are not being observed, but they are playing very significant role in determining behavior and productivity of worker. In third, mass interviewing program. Here, the supervisor or manager were suggested to keep human touch while dealing with worker. They were told to have some formal, some personal relation with employee, like how are you, how is life going on, is there any difficulty, how is your family, etc. So what was found, when management started taking interest in worker also responded vehemently, sharply. They told everything with what they have. Some complained about functioning of organization, some complained about their personal life, some complained about their colleagues, some complained against, you can say, management, some shared some experience with organization. So what the management did, they took selectively some issue which were solved, and they took some problem unsolved deliberately. But what they found, even those problems who were hard ones, they were never listened again whether they were solved or not. So this has proved that workers are not inept and machine-like product. They are very sensitive, they are very sensible, they are social beings, and they have their own emotion and feeling which influence their behavior and productivity. Getting point? Now, this is also called ventilation therapy because it tried to explore some other dimension of employee. In bank wiring experiment, what was done? A team of 14 workers were selected. Getting a point? And they were kept under close supervision, and they have given groupal task, and they told that until the groupal task is not achieved, no worker will be given wage or remuneration. then it was found that all started forming some sort of social group that is called informal group, and they influence, getting point, behavior of each other, and they play very significant role in determining functioning of organization. So for the first time, existence of informal organization was felt during bank wiring experiment. One more experiment conducted by George Elton Mayo in 1943, that is an aircraft foundry shops were not doing good. Getting point, they were their labor turnover was increasing and employees were dissatisfied. When George Elton Mayo invited to go into detail and try suggest measures, he found that the same thing. The management is supposed to recognize the existence of informal group in organization. They also required to deal worker with humanistic approach. They required to deal with worker with, you can say, with a socialistic approach, as a social human approach. They are not machine, they are not inert, they are very sensitive, they are very emotional, and if you consider them like this way, you will find their performance is bound to increase. So see, these things, all five experiments have revealed other dimensions of organizations which were not known to organization in scientific management theory and administrative theory and bureaucratic theory. We were not aware of these things. So the observation of Hawthorne experiment were very striking, which were concluded in a book called Management and the Worker, published in 1939 by Roethlisberger and Dixon. I must point out, George Elton Mayo has also written book also. You can point the three books he has written. There may be more also. The Human Problems of Industrial Organization in 1933, the Social Problems of Industrial Organization 1945, and the Political Problems of Industrial Civilization. This is called 1947. These three books are written by George Elton Mayo, and Management and the Worker. This book was written by Roethlisberger and Dixon, in which the observation of Hawthorne experiment were published. So what were observation of Hawthorne experiment? This experiment, have opened a new dimension to organization. The first thing it has revealed that at work place, not physical or mechanical dimension or working condition influence. It is a social psychological dimension influence workers' behavior and productivity. That is very important finding, that at workplace, not physical condition, but social psychological working condition determine behavior and productivity of organization or worker. Number two, organization is social system. It's not a mechanical system. It is not formal system. It is a social system. Number three, non-economic reward and sanction have significant influence on workers' behavior, morale, and output. So workers don't want money or you can say economic reward for each and everything. They require some sort of psychological satisfaction also. So non-economic rewards and non-economic sanction also play a very significant role in their behavior and productivity. Next, workers are social animals. They are not machine-like entity. They are not mere cogs of machine. Getting when they are social animals, they have their own emotion, they have their own feeling also. Next, we used to consider that division of work based on specialization, the most efficient approach to management or organization, is no more valid. There are other things also which are very important to organization. Workers have tendency to form a small group, that is called informal organization, which determine their behavior, their productivity, their performance significantly. So for the first time we came to know that workers form their own group called informal organization. Then it was also found that workers have tendency to present before management, not individually, but they have tendency to represent before management as a member of informal group, because they feel that informal group, when they will they have association of informal group, they will get protection, they will get groupal support. Suppose they go as individually before management, then they may be victimized or they may be subjected to exploitation. But suppose they are basically member of informal organization and present before management, then management will hesitate while taking any action against him in that circumstance. Getting a point? So this experiment also revealed that workers respond to working conditions inside and outside organization. So whatsoever working conditions are there inside organization and outside organization, all influence the workers' behavior and performance. Then it was also found that the dissatisfaction in among worker is basically signifying existence of improper working condition. Getting point? So there is something wrong in organization and required to correct it. Getting point? And last, leadership, style of supervision, communication, participation play a very significant role in the workers' behavior, satisfaction and productivity. So these are some observations found during Hawthorne experiment. Can you repeat it? Yes. Worker at workplace, not physical working condition, but social, psychological dimension determine or influence workers' behavior. Number 2, organization is not formal structure, but social system. Number 3, non-economic reward and sanction have significant influence on the workers' behavior and performance. Number 4, workers have tendency to form a small group that is called informal organization. So next, workers are not machine-like entity, they are social being and they have their own emotion and their own feeling also. Next point, division of work based on specialization can be most efficient approach to organization is not necessary. Next, workers represent before management or present before management not individually. They have tendency to represent as member of informal group. Then workers respond to the working condition inside and outside organization. Get a point? And next, workers' dissatisfaction signifying existence of improper working condition. And last but not the least, the leadership, the communication, then motivation, they play very significant role, participant play very important role in determining behaviors, satisfaction and productivity of worker. So this Hawthorne experiment have revealed the parallel theme of organization which were unaware of their existence earlier. So this was the first time when we came to know these things are also important and required to be addressed. Getting point? So human relation theory is based on these observations. Getting point? And it has 4 important postulates. Getting point? So what are postulates or basic theme you can say of human relation theory? First theme is called individual. Human relation theory considers that each individual is separate and a specific one. Each one has their own value system, has its own background, expectation. When one individual joins organization, he does not join organization physically only. His entire personality gets associated with organization. So we are required to consider individual specifically. You don't take them homogeneous, they are heterogeneous. You know, as I told in the beginning, that at workplace, not physical condition, but it is basically social psychological condition determine workers' behavior. Means in organization, these aspects are equally important. Next point, what did you say? Next point is it says that in formal organization, you know, We were unaware of informal organization. During bank wiring experiment, we came to notice that there is existence of informal organization. They exist with the formal organization setup. Getting point? And they have their own goal. Getting point? They have their own control mechanism also, and they influence the behavior of their member through their own social psychological techniques. During Hawthorne experiment, particularly during bank wiring experiment, we come to know that they regulate the behavior of their worker through some particular terminology and psychological treatment like rate buster. Who are rate buster? The rate buster are those workers who do more than their, what you can say, their set objective or target. Formal organizations set their own target and expect that all worker requires to do accordingly. And if some worker goes against it and does more, then they are called rate buster. Getting point? So this is a very important point. What is called rate buster? भाव चढ़ाने वाला. Getting point? As I told that informal organizations set their own target, and if some worker does even below the target, then he is called cheese seller. Cheese seller means what? Kamchor. Getting point? This is the important thing. Then third, there can be some worker who does not transfer or information about their colleague to manager. This is called a squaller, a chugalkhor, you can say, a squaller. Getting one? They pass information of their colleague to manager. This is very bad, squaller. They also find there are some employee or worker, they try to show unnecessary maintenance and so unnecessary social distance, or you can say superiority over others. That is called sub-inspector type behavior. The fourth, rate buster, cheese seller, squaller, inspector are terminology used by informal organization to notice, to address extraordinary behavior of their member and require control mechanism to keep under their limit. So these are four specific terminology you find during bank wiring experiment. And we also come to know that in general or in organization, worker set the informal condition in number one in their priority and work afterwards. To foreign worker, work is not important. Their informal organization is more important to work. That's why they keep in first priority their informal organization, and in second priority they keep work. So this is very important thing you find in organization. Herbert Mayo says that in organization, getting a point, the earlier theory had belief in David Ricardo rebel hypothesis. What is rebel hypothesis? Do you know what is rebel hypothesis? Rebel hypothesis. Rebel hypothesis that says that each individual is separate and he is completely motivated by his own interest. Humans being are, you can unorganized horde of self-actuated entities. They don't have to concern at all with others. So this rebel hypothesis considered, but this is being discarded by human relation theory, and it is developed at herd hypothesis. Herd hypothesis means what? The individual are having concern with each other, they take care of their concern and they work as a team. So for the first time, we came to know that individuals are not machine-like entity. Individuals are social animals having concern for each other, and we thought that human problem requires human solution. What we in general do, in general what we used to do, in general we try to solve human problems with the use of non-human techniques and data. So what this theory say? Human problem requires human solution. Human being, workers are social beings, and they should be treated in the same way. Getting point? So this is the most important message given by human relation theory. Third, participative management. For the first time, the scientific human relation theory work on participative aspect in detail. What is participative management? Participative management means the worker should be involved in the decisions concerning working condition of worker. Getting point? So those matters which are concerned with working condition of worker should be also associated in decision making. So this is participative management. What generally happens if there is participative management, then what will happen? If working condition will become pleasant, then you'll find, and then the acceptance of organization goal will be possible by workers. Then you can say there will not be alienation tendency among workers. Then you will find that there will be pleasant working condition. Then you will find the productivity will increase. Then there will be some, you can say, open atmosphere in which worker and management can discuss issue. So participative management has a lot of things which can be useful for overall functioning of organization. And last, human relation theory has identified leaders. Number fourth one, he told that manager should act as a leader. Means manager should work as a team leader and try to influence socially, psychologically the behavior of worker. Getting point? As a head of organization, you can influence only the formal aspect of organization. But if you act like a leader, then you can also influence the social psychological dimension. So these four pillars constitute the basis of human relation theory. All are interrelated. Individual is related to informal organization. Informal organization is having significant role while you go for participative management. Leadership influence participative management. Individual getting influenced by leader, and leader also influence individual. So all four dimensions or four postulates determine overall functioning of organization. So these are very important things required to keep in mind. Human relation theory, as I told, is the first theory in organization. You can say people side theory. For the first time it has emphasis on the people aspect of organization, individual aspect of organization, human dimension of organization. This theory supplemented the classical theory by putting some new dimension to organization. Economic aspects are properly addressed in classical approach to organization, but missing social psychological dimension, and this theory tried to supplement it by adding it social psychological dimension. This theory, getting a point, is known for giving valuable contribution in the form of informal organization about which organization was unaware earlier. Then you can say this theory has also contributed significantly to personal administration. Now, this theory has helped, getting a point, to address worker in different way, in positive and more constructive way. This theory also paved way for behavioral approach. That's why D.S. Book has rightly said before the term, George Elton Mayo was behavioralist scientist long before the term became popular. Means he was a behavioral thinker, even when then behavioral approach was not in coin. So his approach was basically became criteria for emergence of behavioral approach. So what you can say, this human relation theory has twofold role. On the one hand, it supplemented classical approach. On the other hand, it made path to behavioral approach. And one thing more, it has added some fresh aspect to organization about which organization was unaware, like people aspect, like social psychological dimension aspect, like informal organization aspect, like leadership aspect, like participation aspect, like you can say workers non-economic reward and sanctions were concerned. These things about which we were unaware, they were addressed for the first time by human relation theory. That's why human relation theory assumes extraordinary position in administrative theory. Getting a point? But all theory are subjected to some limitations, and human relation theory cannot be exception. So human relation theory is also subjected to some limitation. So what are limitation? Can you point out here? Yes. The first important limitation was basically concerned with Hawthorne experiment. Critics say the Hawthorne experiment was not scientifically done. It was not having scientific criteria. Number two, it is also criticized that the person who participated in Hawthorne experiment were aware of fact that they are being observed. That's why they have not given natural response. So this behavior is fractured one. And number two, number of workers were very limited also. On that basis, you cannot claim a universal idea about anything. So this is also limitation. Number three, this theory is pro-management and anti-labor union. Get your point? That's why this theory is called cause sociologists, because they are sociologists or having social concern only in theory. Actually, they are basically working for the interest of capitalism. Marxist criticism also criticized this theory because they found this theory as new means of exploitation of workers in the name of social psychological aspect. Then this theory did not work on formal organization. And informal organization provides basis for informal organization. So this is also one of the limitations. This theory did not work on the nature of work and purpose of organization. This theory works on only satisfaction and happiness of worker. It does not work on performance and productivity of organization. Next, this theory does not work on environmental aspect in proper way. Getting what there are some limitations. Can you give 5 achievements and 5 limitations of this theory? Yes, I can give you 5 achievements. If asked, I will say it is the first theory which have given human aspect to organization. Number 2, this theory has, you can say, for the first time introduced informal organization with management thought. Number 3, this theory added classical theory by supplementing social dimension to organization. Number 4, this theory provided, getting point, basis for behavioral approach also. Number 5, this theory provided a behavioral tool to personal administration to manage manpower resources, man resources and planning. And limitation, first limitation related to Hawthorne experiment. Second relation related to that it is pro-management and anti-labor union. Number 3, Marxist thinker, it is a new means of exploitation. Number 4, it does not work on formal organization and you can say nature of work. Number 5, it works only on happiness and satisfaction of worker, not on productivity and you can say performance of organization, because as it is found that more satisfied worker goes to least performance. So there is some sort of, you can say, inverse relation between satisfaction and productivity of organization. more satisfied worker, less productive to organization. It is also somewhere found, so it is also to in certain extent correct also. So there will be some sort of competition. There should be some elements of, you can say, toughness in organization, so that workers should feel some sort of pressure to work and some sort of competition among themselves to work hard and give better to organization. Today, if you ask what is the significance of human relation theory, yes, in present, human relation theory deals with human aspect, and human aspect has been always important to administration. So long as it is important, the relevance of Mayo and human relation theory is continuing. Presently, there was one question in BPSC. Do you think that due to change on economic dimension, the human face of Indian administration is losing? This question was asked in 64 BPSC. Means in present perspective also in LPG or post LPG, human aspect is always important and will also remain. So you can say that till now the human aspect is significant, Elton Mayo is important. So today I have given one question to write. This question was asked in 39 BPSC. This question is very, you can say, different type. This question says, human relation theory of organization is the study of how people can work effectively in group in order to satisfy the organization and personal goal. Explain. This question is not straightforward. This question is statement based. What is achievement of human relation theory? Yes, informal organization. So you can point out that human relation theory works on informal organization. Informal organization works within formal organization. Formal organization has its own organizational goal. Informal organization has its own personal goal. And human relation theory deal with this organization and explain how the organizational goal and individual goal both can be achieved. So this is the central thing you require to answer. So you don't write this answer in traditional way. You first write human relation theory, then you discuss in a formal organization, then put with informal and formal, and said that formal organization deals with formal goals and objective, and informal organization deals with personal goal, and say that human relation theory address both these goals and suggest measures how to make harmonious relation between these two goals. Getting point? So you have to write this way. Okay, you try your own, and if you have any sort of difficulty, you can contact me. Okay, thanks, enjoy, all the best.